Welcome, everyone. We have some music in the background and let's just get oriented a little bit. Thank you for joining us at the end of our conference in the last session. This is Escape Brew, Rescue the Inclusioneer. So we are so excited about being here and also having you be a little bit of our guinea pigs for the next iteration of the escape room. So let's go ahead and get started with our presentation. Love the Mario.
All right. Hello, everyone. It's very nice to see you here on YouTube Live and on Zoom. I am Jose Blackerby. I work at WestEd and at CAST. I've been working with Sung on this conference for a number of years, trying to do innovative and interesting applications of universal design for learning. And one thing that we've really gotten into is this idea of escape rooms. So we're going to spend a little bit of time giving you some background about how we got into this and how this works with inclusion and equity and kids with disabilities. And then we're going to share some stuff that we've done. We hope you'll enjoy. And then, as Sung said, those of you who are able to hang in there for the whole time, you actually will get a chance to try a new escape room that we've designed in just the last week or so. So let's get started. So one of the things we were thinking about is that, you know, in every era of education, there are a number of big ideas that take hold of people in the field as ways of thinking differently, reaching kids in new ways, thinking differently about the educational landscape. And so, of course, we think that inclusion is one. We think universal design for learning is another, socio-emotional learning, anti-racist teaching, culturally responsive teaching. All of those things are big ideas of our time. Another one that is pretty big is this new emphasis on, it's not really new anymore, but on maker spaces, which are hands-on kinds of spaces, which are growing in popularity in schools and out of schools. And there's a reason for that, because there's not really a single kind of makerspace, right? Some of them are in schools, some of them are outside of schools, some of them are using technology, others are not. Some are collaborative, others are not. Some are structured, some are open-ended. So there's this total mix of different ways. Different activities, different tasks, different contexts, different products. And what's just interesting about it is it's so different from what you see in schools when you go to schools most of the time, right? It's just a very different kind of educational activity, different ways of kids working together and different ways of kids getting engaged. So that's just an area of interest. It seems like that feels like something that we want more of in schools. Now,
Jose, earlier we had a panel of students, and it really goes along with what they were saying about just the best things that they love about school. It's, believe it or not necessarily the traditional class structures.
People don't, go home and say, boy, it was a great multiple choice test. I really loved that today, So anyway, so makerspaces have grown both here and around the world. And it's for the reasons that Sung just said, right? That it's just very, very a different and innovative way of thinking about how to do things that are focused around learning, but are different than what you see traditionally. And there is beginning to be some research out there, and it's promising, right? It shows that makerspace and related activities can help build community, can help build creativity, 21st century skills like collaboration, and then of course engagement. So as we were learning about this community and getting to know people and going to meetings and going to places, we're asking, like, are maker spaces, are they really good for everybody, right? And one of the things we found out is that a lot of people working in this area are really, really creative and really, really committed and really, really amazing educators. But they don't think about kids with learning differences. They like kind of were much more focused on building the creative, interesting tasks. So we wanted to look at some maker spaces and then in related activities and think about them from the perspective of differences, diversity, disability. And so we realized too, when you look at all of these things, there are assumptions being made about language, about physical dexterity, attention, and focus. And those are being made many times without really explicit decision making. It's just something that people just build, doing the best they can without thinking about the full range of potential learners. I want to give you one thing that I just love. This is called a Sketch It, Play It, was one of the things that really motivated us. And we have actually another activity where we do this. This is building you can build an instrument with a makey, but this is a great making activity. Check this out. When
I was making this, I actually placed my hand on the paper and made little marks, just making sure I had each pad in exactly the right place.
Okay, so you can see that's a great example of like what a fun activity, how to make instruments out of everyday objects, draw on them, and then play them, and then make an orchestra out of them. So that's just so cool. And they actually do a pretty good job at Forever Kindergarten in Cambridge. They have different models about how to get started to do this. They have basic ones, they have more advanced ones, but you can see that there's a whole bunch of things that are fairly complicated that might need some scaffolding and might not be actually accessible to everyone. So as you've probably heard a bunch in this conference, right? There are a lot of people who are interested in human variability and thinking about that in terms of how we go about designing solutions. Universal design for learning is the one that we use most frequently, but it's this basic idea that we know that kids all differ in terms of what makes them engaged. We know what kind of that there are different representations, and that they are ways that they prefer to express themselves. So this is the UDL framework, and I'm pretty sure it's probably very familiar to all of you, but these are the three networks in the brain for affect, for representation, and for strategy, and that those work together from going from accessing learning up to internalizing learning behaviors, with the hope that students become expert learners. So that's kind of the big idea. The other idea that we wanted to introduce here as we get into the escape rooms is this idea of design thinking, which is a systematic way of thinking about what the problem is that your context and your users are facing, thinking hard about what they bring to the table, what they need, and then iteratively solving till you come up with a new solution. And part of that is this idea of either use cases or personas, where you create an archetype of particular different kinds of learners. And you start with, you come up with a profile and you start with their strengths. So in this case, we have Jasmine, Thomas, and Peter. We have background about their family. We know about things that they're good at. We know about things that they have challenged with, and we have some problem statements about areas that they need support. And so as we go through designing these maker spaces and escape rooms, we think about one or more of these learners, and we think about how would they be able to interact in that environment and do so successfully. So A number of us, I think, just had gone to some escape rooms, and we had a great time. We had really fun. I went one on my wife's birthday in New York City. It was super fun. And we were thinking about how maybe there's a way that we could do this in our classes, try it out. And we knew it was going to be a lot of work. And we weren't sure that we were going to be able to pull it off. But we did. But we did pull it off. So I'll start with the first one. This is from a couple of years ago. And here's the problem. We had a double robot, and it says, "Sung, where's our robot? Our robot is missing. Our Inclusioneer robot double was kidnapped by the Exclusion League. You need to find the password and the missing robot, hack into the robot, and then drive him home." So we put together a little video about how students did this task. All right. So thank God that the robot was found, Sung. Thank God. So that was a face-to-face version. And as most of you are fully aware of, that was not possible last year. And so we were crazy enough to think that we might try to do it online. So Sung, you want to tell us about that?
Sorry, I got pulled away for one of our streams, but I am back. So yes, we were crazy enough to try it online. I mean, we see how the students really enjoyed it in person, and my goodness, graduate students at that, they were really having a good time. They were smiling and laughing, and graduate courses shouldn't be that much fun, but did that. And 2 years ago, we did it in person at our conference too, and that was a lot of fun. So we were crazy enough to try it online too. I mean, number one, I mean, we sort of had to with the environment being what it is at being in remote learning, but we didn't have to necessarily try to be this ambitious and try to do it online, but we did. And thank goodness, because it was a lot of fun and we learned a lot of things that we're going to share right now through the design process. So are the here are some of the things that was part of that online space there. And as you see, we have 4 quick activities: the construct relevance, the UDL facts, the lesson design, and the guideline knowledge quest. And participants, students, learners were able to go to any of them in order that they wished to solve them and get hints to finding clues and the answer to being able to defeat the Axis of Exclusion and the Exclusion League. So,
Yeah, so I was going to say, so what happens is people work in teams and they go through these knowledge quests, and when they got it right, members of the teaching team, they would get some letters. So they would earn some letters, and those letters formed what? So
those letters formed, teach with honor.
Teach well with heart and soul.
So yes,
from Andre Teja.
Andre Fitzgerald. Sorry about that. My train of thought is still.
You're doing a lot of things all at once here. Yeah. So these letters were all scrambled at the top, and students had to put them together, and then that was teaching well with heart and soul. And then they had to go find a file which required a special code, and that special code then told them what the keys to UDL were. And of course, in that case, the keys to UDL were all the class, right? That the class, they were the keys to UDL all along. So that was our online experience, and we would love now to show you what we've been up to. And if you're ready, we're gonna start. You ready, Sam?
I'm ready.
All right. Now it is your turn. You want to put on your seat belts, put your tray table up. Here we go. Oh my God, our conference has been hacked.
Jose, what happened?
So you won't believe it. Having heard rumors of all your good work and fearing the spread of UDL, the Axis of Exclusion has stolen the keys to UDL and locked them up. They are forcing us to standardize everything around the average. Without those keys, we can only create a fixed curriculum. What on earth should we do? We're sending out an SOS for help.
I don't know who can help us, Jose. That looks pretty dire. Like all our efforts are going down. Like, I don't know. And whoa, what's happening? I think I see the Inclusioneers. They're coming and we're going to unite. Wow, they're here. They're here. Wow.
Thank God, the Inclusioneers are here. The Inclusioneers are here.
And they're asking us to join the Justice Wars. Jose, we're the Justice Wars now. Wow. We're being deputized. Cool.
All right.
And we need to defeat the Axis of Exclusion and practice and spread UDL. We can't let this defeat us. We can't let the Axis of Exclusion win here. So we need to find the clues. We need to find the keys and unlock them so that we can practice UDL again and spread universal design.
All right. So here's the plan. We're going to use an application, a website called GatherTown, which is very cool, which you can set up games and ways to interact. You're going to go there and set up your avatar first that you can customize. And there are 3 challenge tables there. And our challenge in this case is we're going to build a bookcase, because it turns out that bookcases are the things that the Axis of Evil Exclusion hates amongst the most. So we have to build these bookcases, and we have to think about some learners who have particular characteristics, strengths, and interests, and think which ones might be better or for them, or which ones might have barriers. And if we can do that, we can find the file that has the keys to UDL. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put a link to these instructions in the chat, and I'm going to put the link to GatherTown in here, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of a demo of the GatherTown first. So with those 2, you should be able to get to GatherTown. And again, you're going to create your avatar. Each table has something different, a different approach to building these bookcases. Again, think of barriers and supports. And then there is a puzzle that you'll have to complete in order to find the secret code, and then we'll have to unlock it. So let me show you what the space looks like. So this is a little space that we've created. Here are our avatars. There's me, there's Jose. Where are you, Sung? I thought I saw Sung, and then he went away. Where did Sung go? Anyway, you can navigate around this space by using your arrow keys. Oh, hi, Sung. How you doing, Sung?
Hi, Jose.
Hey, nice to see you. And one cool thing, you can actually communicate via video and audio within GatherTown if you want to. See, there's Sung, and there I am. How you doing, Sung? That's kind of cool. And what you do is you go around and you go around, and there are things that you can interact with. And the way that you interact with them is they highlight, and you just hit the X. When you hit the X, you will get a link, and this will tell you this is a presentation, has some other information in there that will help you solve the problem. I did want to show one other thing just before, because this will help a little bit. There is this document here, which is the planning document, but in there, at the end of that, there is a worksheet, which for each of the ways of building bookcases has opportunities for you to put in barriers for whom they would have challenges, and then what kind of scaffolds that you might want to put in. So you can use that or not, but I just wanted to show you that that's where it is. So without any further ado, why don't you go ahead and click on the GatherTown link and join us here, and let's try to solve these riddles and see if we can find the keys to UDL. And you can communicate with us in the chat if you need some help, and Sung and I are available to provide help if you need it. Let's see if I can send you a message now. So it's the other cool thing, as you move away from someone, the video gets darker because you can't see as well. And when you're up close, kind of like in real life. I should also mention that the whiteboard there's a whiteboard in the middle that I couldn't delete. Just checking, has anyone clicked the link and joining us?
Not yet. It's been shared on the
something,
YouTube
Sung?
chat.
Sung, I think it's just you and me. I don't think there's anybody in here. There's only 6 participants, I just realized, and they're all in their production. So I think we've just been talking to ourselves.
The participants aren't in on the Zoom. They are watching on the live.
Okay. Oh, here comes Lynn. Okay, I got it. All right, good. Hi, Lynn. Hi, JB. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So Jennifer Snyder has commented on the chat that it does take a while to set up a profile.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you, Jennifer.
And Jose, we were talking about some of the barriers to getting onto GatherTown.
Yeah, we had a little trouble with that too. Yeah. It's a pretty impressive little system though. I'm going to go over here and see what this one looks like. Wow. We had a little trouble with that too. Yeah. It's a pretty impressive little system though. I'm going to go over here and see what this one looks like. Wow. I'm going to go over here and see what this one looks like. Yeah. I love Eddie. Hi,
Hi,
This is the first time we're just letting
Hi.
it.
How are you?
You-
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. I was like, maybe I'm in the wrong section.
No, you're doing great. Yeah.
This is like totally out of my comfort zone. Okay, so I was a principal for a charter school that was all based on STEAM, and I just would let my staff do what they did. And they were good at it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try something new.
This is new for a lot of us. So one thing that's cool about this is that when you go sit at a table, if a bunch of people sit at a table, then you share a video chat. I don't know if did we implement that in this one song? I don't know.
Totally out of my comfort zone. Okay. How do I me?
You know, Jose, I'm not sure about that group. Although a lot of videos are popping up, it's just that many of us have chosen to not share the video, our webcams, which is totally understandable. But we are seeing many
people,
people come up, and
I see it.
Jose, we were wondering how group dynamics would just form without much direction, or just letting people loose and interact with the materials. And we kept it really simple with just one fairly large room, but on GatherTown there are some labyrinth of pieces of where they create entire school campuses or just facilities.
Yeah, lots of labyrinths and Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff and all that.
And they create physical, or they try to recreate school environments with different typical school rooms, and they'll have like conference facilities and just many different things. And it's amazing how this is providing another platform and medium for design thinking.
Exactly. So there are, if we have a class, one of the things we've done in our class is that since we knew who was in the class, we could set up groups ahead of time. So we didn't, but we didn't do that this time since we didn't know who was going to be here, and we didn't know. So we had to be it had to be possible for it to be individual, but you could easily do it with groups or with exactly. You know what? I forgot. I was supposed to put on music. That's the problem.
Jose, what's cool is that I'm on a Google Slides, a slide deck with Andy here on the Billy table. And since we're interacting with the same object, we both see each other within the document window. So that's really cool.
Wow. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Hi, Sung. Hi, Andy. Hey, look at that. We're all sitting around a table, see? Yeah.
Wow.
Here's the, we always joke that the IKEA one has been driving up divorce rates around the world for generations. We're all sitting around the table, see?
And Sandy is here too, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill.
Driving up divorce rates around the world for
Build a bookcase. I don't know about you, but when I try to build a bookcase from IKEA, there's always extra parts.
Yes, it's always a little worrisome.
Yeah.
Hey, Sung, how much time do we have left?
8 minutes.
Okay. Well, do you think we should go back and have some conversation?
Sure, that sounds good.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and keep playing in the game, but Sung, you want to tell us what's the answer?
We are the keys to UDL. So we don't have to worry about the axis of exclusion. They may think that they hit the keys, and they're so traditionalist, thinking about bookcases and having us look at bookcase designs. They're stuck in the past. They are thinking of rigid, fixed curriculum. I mean, books are what they're thinking. They're not thinking about flexible, universal designs. I mean, we're better than that. We're way beyond that. We're well beyond that. So we are the keys to UDL. And UDL lives in our everyday actions. And because we engage with honor and we try to do it well, as our learners every day have more opportunities to be successful because we are here. And we grab friends. And thank you everybody for joining us on GatherTown and just, seeing this world, and we're imagining a better world, and we got to experience another world on GatherTown. We proactively planned for it and we tried immediately. And that's what we're trying to do at this conference. We're doing it as Inclusioneers. And we want to grab some more friends, reflect on it, and keep doing it again and again. As Inclusioneers, we are empowered. We're going to act in honor.
Inclusioneers.
Yes.
The axis of exclusion is vanquished once again. Well, so we just have a few minutes left, and Sonia, I think you're watching the chat, right? So that
Yes.
people could. So we just were wondering if you were thinking about a particular student, about the strengths that he or she might bring to an activity like this, what challenges they might have, how could it be redesigned, and that means everything that we have done to make this little activity, also the design of the environment, anything you think that might actually help it meet their needs better. And then how would you evaluate whether this was successful, and if you might redesign it, how would you do it? So, well, thank you very, very much. And go ahead, and if anybody who cares to share on any of those fronts, we welcome you to do so. By the way, that YouTube video is actually for the Super Mario music is actually 5 hours long. So if you want to listen to Mario music for 5 hours, you can. We should have put a poll in here, Sung. That would have been a smart thing to do.
That's right, Jose. And YouTube Live actually allows us to put in polls now. They rolled that out in July, so that's another part of design thinking there.
So I don't know, Sung, I think when I'm looking at this, there's kind of a lot of things that you have to be able to pay attention to here. You have to be able to navigate and interact with the object, and then it opens it up in another web window. So there's a lot of moving parts.
There's a lot of moving parts, and it's the first time going through it. There is that onboarding where we are creating an avatar and just figuring out how to interact in this world.
I think this would be a fun activity to have kids actually design a game like this for themselves. I think this would be a great activity. Could be motivating, could be around STEM, it could be around lots of things.
Yes, Sandy commented the exact same thing, that her students would really shine in this area. And Andy or Andrea, I see there, you had asked, how do we create the virtual rooms? So on GatherTown, there's a whole library of rooms and experiences that people have shared to the community, and they have opened up permissions to copy them and build off of them. Or we can be a little bit more ambitious and go into a builder mode after having created our profile, and we can create our worlds however we would like. And it's amazing just some of the elaborate worlds that everyone has created.
I can show you some of them.
Jennifer comments that what a change of pace this would be. for people who are exhausted with Zoom and
Yes. So look at this.
things related to Zoom, like, there was only so many polls and so many offshoots of that we can do.
So this is a it's called an EA coffee shop. I don't know what I can do here.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's really quite amazing. It makes me think that other people have more time than I do. There's a magical store. Wow, there's a piano. A broken link. That happened to me earlier too. I put something in where the link was broken.
It was also brought up that it's interesting to try to follow along and see what's going on your screen when our participants are seeing that on YouTube Live with the 20-30 second delay, and by the time they're like at that section, we've moved on. so that's a barrier too. Really good points that are being shared.
Indeed. Well, I think we're kind of out of time.
It's 3:15 now.
All right. Well, we want to just thank you so much for letting us share our passion and our interest in this kind of new approach to helping kids learn. And we appreciate the feedback that you've already given. We hope that you consider doing some things similar with your students, and we would look forward to seeing that. So we hope you had a wonderful conference. Thank you for coming. I know at the end of the day, especially when you've been on Zooms all day, it is really tiring. So thank you very much for staying here and being with us, and have a great evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.